So let me ask you, how many of you can relate to that feeling of we have the same fight over and over again and nothing ever changes? Or it changes for a short time and then it always ends up going back to the way it was. Can you relate to that? So here's why change doesn't last, because you're approaching it the wrong way. So what I find is I have couples that come in, and I've got one partner who will say to me, he's the problem or she's the problem. And then whenever we have these disagreements or these arguments, they promise to make changes, and then it gets better for a little bit, and then they go right back to the way things were. It never stays. So there are two primary reasons that is the way it is. And number one is demanding that your partner change doesn't work, right? What ends up happening is the person on the receiving end of that demand is just feeling like, okay, I have to do the thing so I stay out of trouble with my partner. Now, it might be motivating in the moment, but it's not really, it doesn't promote lasting change, because if the only reason they're doing is because they want to stay out of getting in trouble, the motivation just isn't there. So number one, demanding that kind of a change doesn't work. And secondly, here's the other thing that happens, and I see this so often, is you want to change from your partner. You want them to do a certain something, and then maybe they're doing it really well for a while, even a couple of weeks, a few days, and you're noticing in your mind, but you're not really saying anything to them. You're not saying, hey, I noticed that, or I appreciate that. Like you're just kind of keeping check of it. But at the same time, all the while, you're kind of waiting, because you're not convinced they are really going to change or the change is going to stick. So in the back of your mind, you are waiting for them to mess up, right? So you're not really noticing them doing a good job. You're just in your mind sort of thinking, at some point, this isn't going to last. And then sure enough, it doesn't last, and they trip up. And then your thoughts are, oh, I knew it wasn't going to last. I knew they wouldn't be able to do it. I knew we would be back to square one, right? And that's where the mistake is, because naturally, if somebody does something a certain way, we all have habits, right? And creating new habits is a process. It takes time. So because they're actually making progress all along the way, you're just not noticing that or recognizing that or letting them know that you noticed that. The only thing you're letting them know is when they messed up. And so that certainly doesn't create a lot of motivation either. It's the partner that comes in and says, no matter what I do, it's not good enough. I can never get it right. Right? So those two things, oops, sorry about that, the phone. Those two things are the primary reason that change isn't sticking. Right? So if you find yourself in that cycle, like, you've got to change your approach. If you want to change from your partner, you really have to be thinking about, what can I do to make it easier, or what can I do to support my partner in making the change that I want? It's not demanding, and then it's not just noticing when they mess up. It's appreciating when they are doing it, letting them know that you appreciate it, because certainly they're going to be far more motivated to keep doing it if they know you're noticing, and that you're appreciating the efforts that they're making. So if you really want a particular change or a particular something from your partner, think about how you can approach the situation, how you can make these requests instead of demands, and then also how you can appreciate the efforts and the progress along the way. This will change the way, the whole process for you. And you might not be looking at like here we go again. And that's the mindset that really needs to change as well. The here we go again. It's remembering that the process of change is that a process and takes time, and there will be slip ups along the way. It's not going to be perfect right out of the gate. So praise progress. Don't look for perfection, and make requests instead of demands. All right, so I hope that is helpful, and have a great day.